we have the cream of the crop in this room. You know, I think that through my whole construction career, I've worked with a lot of teams, a lot of like incredible people, like the people who taught me what I know were part of those teams. But one of the reasons why we wanted to do this pod, be nervous, is
oh no, I'm taking a deep breath.
Yeah.
I'm soaking it in.
Well, that's what makes us like such a dynamic team, but a powerful team, because everybody has like, you're like the guy that's usually in the best mood. You know, everybody here is like in a bad mood sometimes, and here comes the Will, you know, like prancing to the door.
Like a golden retriever or something.
Do you feel like a responsibility to kind of like maintain the culture, create the culture, and help the energy here at the office as a project manager?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a project manager, you should have that sense of responsibility of making sure that everybody feels good and wants to be able to work with you, and to be honest, man, it's natural. It's natural because the people in the office make it easy, and when you have good people in the office, you come to work with a smile on your face. You want to work, and it's well, listen,
contagious. We appreciate it, and maybe sometimes it takes a couple. What is that, tequila in there?
We got rum. We got rum today.
Ron. But sometimes it's just your good energy. But I love it, and I think one of the things that I want to talk about through this episode is kind of what got us into construction. So we're gonna go around quickly. How do we get in construction? What motivate you? Maybe it was your uncle. Maybe it was your abuelo. Maybe it was your dad. Maybe it was some guy that you don't even talk to, but I want to kind of talk about it because I think there's a lot of people watching, maybe even kids and stuff, that they're having those same mentors kind of like do those things, and they may not be picking up, you know, because at the end of the day, I think as a dad, I don't want Jack to do something that I want him to do. I want him to do it because he wants to do it. So I feel like there might be somebody out there. So talk to me, Yay Slack. Well, first of all, introduce yourself and how did you get into construction?
Jay Castellanos, project manager, and I got into construction. It was not planned at all. I made some bad decisions when I was younger, and I met somebody that his dad worked in construction. He said he'd get me a job, and that's how I started. I was 20.
Do you think construction saved your life?
No, I wouldn't say construction saved my life. I think my experiences, learning through those experiences, saved my life.
So through those experiences, you had somebody that helped you out. You went in construction. Yeah. Did you feel at that point that construction was a career, or did you kind of feel that construction was kind of like a job?
I felt like it was forced on me. I felt like it was forced on me. I felt like I really didn't have a choice, and it took a little bit. It took a little bit of time.
Do you feel like you had a choice?
Now, yeah.
Yeah, but not at that point.
Yeah. Hindsight is 20/20, but yeah, I feel like I had a choice. At that time,
look, you've been able to
drown myself
in
a
cup of water.
A
laborer, no? Essentially, what you were doing.
Oh yeah, I was moving material.
So we're gonna get to that through the show, but essentially, we have somebody that started. You know what was gonna be like a second shot kind of deal was like a construction labor, like sweeping the broom, and to somebody that's one of the most important parts of our organization. So we'll get back to you. How did you get into construction?
Oh. Well, my story was when I was young, I got into construction because of my grandfather. My grandfather did a lot of side work, and he used to do a lot of renovations and stuff like that. And so a friend of mine's dad actually was working for the shell company. So he was doing shell. And he told me, hey, you want to come work with me and everything? So I said, oh, it's fine. I always liked construction because since I was little, they used to buy me Tonka trucks and the excavators and all that, and I used to love it, the dump trucks. So I used to play with all those when I was little, and I always liked construction. So he got me into the shell business, and I loved it. I just took off, and let me tell you that as soon as I started that, I like took it to heart. Like that's what I meant to do. You know what I mean? I like what I do.
It's funny you say the Tonka because Jack went today to one of our projects with the little trucks,
Yeah.
That's how you start. You kind of like go loving what the actual like trade is. Like construction is, is interesting when you come to learn it. But at the beginning, it's kind of like an exciting thing, you know? Like you're just out there like building stuff. But as you start going into the actual like work, which is honestly the reason that this series exists, because I don't think people really understand what a project manager does. Like, what does a project manager do?
Easy. I think the easy way to put it is
No, there's no easy. What does a project manager do?
We construct the project on paper. We build it first on paper, and it's our responsibility to fill in the gaps and fill in the holes so that by the time the superintendent gets it, he can build it. That's ideally that's you pass it off to the superintendent.
So it's a big
So he can build it. He can build it in the field.
So talk to me about a couple of things that you on a daily basis have to do as a project manager.
Well, first off, I guess.
Well, first of all, what time do you wake up? What time do you get to work? I think that's an important part. What time do you get here?
I get to work at 8:30.
8:30. You're one of the first ones here.
Yeah.
So that's the
I get
difference
in
between
8:30.
project managers and super. So we have a mix of superintendents and project managers. Superintendent, what time do you get to the job site?
6:30, 7 o'clock.
Yeah, so at 6:30, 7
Yeah,
o'clock in the morning, they're already at the job site.
Yeah, I'm here at 8:30. I'm on the phone with Henry at 7:15.
Okay,
You know, and sometimes I'm like, brother, I'm brushing my teeth.
So talk to me about those conversations. What is he calling you for so early in the morning for?
Well, I think the superintendent calls the project manager or the project engineer when there's a need. There's a question. Hey, I have this going on. There's a lot of pressure in the field to get things done. So they're calling you for help.
Yeah, they're not calling the client or the
They're
architect.
not calling the client.
They're calling you.
So because essentially, as a PM, we are the liaisons. We're the liaisons between the field and the client, the field and the architect, the field and the engineer. And you know, there's always times where, listen, sometimes the superintendent has a direct call with either one of them also, right? But at the end of the day, we're alleviating them from having to do that so that they can focus on what they need to focus on in the field.
So project manager, now superintendent here. We're not going to talk about how that makes you feel, 'cause I'm sure it makes you feel great. How did you get into construction?
Okay, so basically I got into construction. So I had a kid at a real young age. At 21, I had my first daughter, and I was at a point in my life like kind of similar to what Jay was saying. I made some bad choices too, and it was a point in my life where I kind of had to do whatever I could to make it work. You know, I had someone that depended on me, someone that I had to pay for a roof for. So I happened to go and try to get a job at a job agency, and the recruiter working at that job agency actually happened to be a longtime friend of mine who I hadn't seen in a couple of years, and he was a recruiter for the job agency, and he got me work the next day as a laborer at a construction job site in Brickell. I remember it was a high-rise in Brickell for a company, and we were doing a Bank of America remodeling. So we were doing the demo. And I remember he put me and my cousin to go.
That was the first time you've ever like swung a hammer?
Yeah, first time. And it was me and my cousin, because me and my cousin were both looking for work. So he sent both of us. And then that same day, my cousin, like an hour in, we were demoing a ceiling grid, which wasn't nothing crazy. And my cousin was like, oh, no, I don't like this. I'm out. My cousin leaves and quits right there, like 2 hours in. And I stayed there, bro, like just hammering in, hammering down, knocking everything down.
By yourself?
Yeah, working my butt off. And then basically the next day, the superintendent that was on site called the recruiter and told him, hey, bring this guy back, and I don't need you to bring an additional person since the other guy left, because that guy worked just as much as two people. And he's like, bring that guy back and give him $1 raise. And then that's where I started in construction. And then from that day on, I remember where I started, and I looked at who a superintendent was, and I always kept in the back of my head, I want to be that person one day. And 12 years later, here I am. So,
and I think you're amazing, honestly. I think, you know, we have incredible superintendents, but your way of like superintending a job is like, it's like threading a needle, you know, like it's very, the best thing for me is how you can be able to manage the job, and I don't have to really worry about the small intricate details so that I can focus on really taking care of the client, talking to them, making sure how they're feeling. Everybody plays their role. So when people aren't playing their own role, somebody else has to kind of like step in on it. You know, it's not like when somebody does more, it doesn't mean that the other person does less. It just means that they have the ability to do what they really need to do. And that's what's great about our team. You know, everybody knows their role. Like Henry was talking at the beginning, he had a meeting this morning, a safety meeting on properly how to rig something. You know how we had heavy equipment at the Venetian pool. We're rigging that, but his experience. You know, because you're thinking about, what were you thinking about the crane people yesterday? It's perfect. So what was your role yesterday as a project manager for the crane?
I wanted to get their yearly inspections. I wanted to get the certificate of the operator, and I wanted to,
Boom.
you know, and I wanted to make sure that they.
And you paid it?
Oh yeah, the payment.
You got the credit card authorization, like
Credit card authorization. Yeah. Oh.
Hey, they asked me for a card. Like people think that
Right.
people things just get.
We gotta pay.
bought,
we gotta
you
pay
know?
the guys. We gotta
Yo,
get them
I
out
need-
there.
I need
We
to
gotta get them out there.
I need to
Right.
spend $2,000. I need to have a crane out there tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
So you're thinking about making sure they have all their inspections. You're making sure that it gets paid. You're making sure that they're there. You send them like 2 months ago the equipment. Hey, I want to make
Yeah,
sure
we
that
send
you
them
can.
the equipment
This
and
is what
make-
we need, so that
Right.
there's no problems. Then
To size the crane.
you pass the baton over to the superintendent. What's the superintendent thinking? Safety, you know, training, verifying the certificates that you already had, being out there and making sure, he scheduled a meeting today. You know, he's the one that needs to lead that meeting as a superintendent. This is my job site, and we're here to protect you, your family. You know, people think that safety is meant for us. It's meant for them and for their families. At the end of the day, we just want everybody to go back home. So that's why the number one safety guy at Suffolk, when he was there, he says, bro, don't worry about how they feel about what you're telling them. Just know that you're saving their life. So you just tell them, hey, like whatever. Like today we were at West Miami, we were talking about like the harness and like, he's like, well, I can't believe you said it to him like that. Hey, bro, I'm saving his life. You know, that guy
You want
that
them
guy
to
would
go
thank
home
me.
to their
That's the
families.
way I see it.
Adrian.
How
What-
I
were you-
started construction?
Oh yeah, I didn't even ask you the question. You're already answering the question. You're ready.
Man's on point.
That's why, dog, he's been
Man's on-
memorizing.
he knows what's
He's
coming.
been he stole my paper. He's been memorizing the first question.
He's learned.
Hold on. Ron,
Yes, sir.
you as a videographer, you've been videoing a lot of things. You've been videoing coffee companies. You've been going to different other construction companies. You do fitness and bodybuilding, a lot of different things that even your personal life, your YouTube channel, which I think you guys should go visit.
Send me the link, Brian.
Yeah, put the link in the bio. He just did a 5-part YouTube. It's like 5 series on YouTube about his training and what he has to do to get to the actual.
the link.
Did you drop the last one already?
No, not yet, not yet.
What are you waiting for? You've been
Bro,
busy.
time, dude. It's just been busy.
You have to drop it already.
Business has been good.
Yeah. So talking about business has been good. You know, the more business that we have, the more business that you have. Behind the lens, what do you see as like somebody that's not in construction about what these guys do on a daily basis?
It's impressive. It's no other word but impressive. How much each one of you remembers in your own respective like field, but also you guys know each part of the job. You know what I'm saying? It's impressive to see like Adrian knows everything. Brian knows this. I heard you guys talking yesterday. Like Henry was trying to like mention something to you. You're like, bro, I don't want to deal with that. Like it's this, but you remember. You feel me? You remember each little part of what you have to keep tabs on. Will, same thing. I hear him on the phone in here when I'm kind of doing the office day. Oh, how much he handles, how much goes on that guy's mind. It's crazy. Same thing for you guys. Like, and it's like, I'm lucky to be able to just come in and observe. It's awesome when you guys interact with me. I don't say that enough. I really do appreciate when you guys do, yo, what's up? Hi, it's I feel like your friend instead of just like the videographer.
You're part
you know,
of
like,
ABC, bro.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you, bro.
feel that
Appreciate
way.
it.
We feel that it's
100%.
easy.
Thank
It's
you.
easy
Hey,
to
he
do.
has a Secret Santa, so he's official. You know,
Yeah,
so
for sure.
and
We're locked in.
he was a Thanksgiving.
One thing I'm gonna say is that Oscar, when I met him, that I came over here, he did what all of us do.
Yeah, 100%.
So I saw him and I said, I don't know how he does it. I said, but he does what you do, what I do, what everybody does.
That's the big difference about working
That's
for
the big
someone like
difference.
Oscar and like your typical like big company owner that you don't even get to know
Correct.
who they are.
Correct.
Where here it's just like we're such
You
a
feel
close,
like,
tight knit
like
family. You
you're
know?
under somebody that it's gonna progress because he has everything, all the abilities that we all have.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, everything we go through every day, he's been through it too.
He's a hungry man, and we all feed off of that.
Which is ironic because I'm the skinniest guy. Nah, I think, listen, at the end of the day,
Adrian got you beat.
I looked at it.
I just
You
have
got some
a,
competition there.
it's hard to explain.
You just like what you do.
You have a drive, bro.
So that's
And
why-
I do like what I do. I love what I do. What I do is who I am. You know, at the end of the day.
And you have the drive.
And I'm also like, no, I have the drive.
we definitely feed off of that.
Oh, yeah.
100%
Yeah.
feed off of that. Like your motivation is our motivation.
It's-
Like we have
it's
our
a
own
drive.
motivation, but when we see how motivated you
But I
are,
can tell you that having a boss that's motivated that way, everybody else is motivated to be able to get it.
as much as we don't want you involved in certain things, we know you're going to be involved. We know you're going to get in there,
truly lead by
and we
example.
appreciate
say
that.
that.
Like
Yep.
at times, we obviously don't want you involved because that makes us feel like we're better at what we're doing, but we appreciate your involvement in everything. Like even when you're hounding us and you're on my neck about something, like I might have a face like I don't like this,
And-
but we appreciate
And
it
he
100%.
has a brain as of a computer.
He just remembers everything.
Yo, this
does,
guy
yeah.
doesn't miss a beat.
Yeah, you really do.
He doesn't miss a
he,
beat.
he remembers everything. Hey, remember that? Remember this?
I don't know. You know what's crazy? If which is me as a person we're talking about today at the office. There's two versions of me, but I think that there's like two versions of like everybody. And what was crazy is like if you go to my Instagram, my bio is like I refuse to gain the world and lose my soul because sometimes I feel like that. Like I go so deep into some moments because it means so much to me, you know. And I feel like time to me is the most important thing. There's so much limited amount of time, and I hate wasting time. I hate going back retroactively and doing something. Okay, time bothers me. So I like to be on time, and I like to do all the things. But the biggest thing is like, there's like an urgency. If you tell me right now we're gonna live for the rest of our lives for infinity, I will never have the same amount of urgency that I have. The problem is that we can die tomorrow, and you have somebody that like Jack that's 3 years old, and you have a wife that's pregnant, like something happens to you, their life is like really, really screwed up, like really quick. Yeah. So we like, you know, as men, like we have that commitment to like provide for your family, which I was thinking about in your Thanksgiving video. I like that Ron had put that because you wrote like, you know, what did you say? Do you remember what you said?
Yeah, I showed it to my wife.
Yeah.
And she was happy. Yeah, definitely. She liked it.
No, but I think you truly meant it. You know?
did. Of course I did.
Yeah.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah. Well, so what he had? Well, say what you said because nobody knows.
Well, basically what I said was
only
that
1,300 people saw
that
it.
I was thankful for that I was thankful for my wife because, you know, she's the one that she's home every day raising my two kids while I'm away working, you know, making money to put food on the table. So I'm thankful for her for that.
100%.
Yeah.
Will, this is very important. Life happens, you know? Like, people fall in love, people get sick. Maybe not even like people, but like our family members, you know, things happen.
Yeah.
But you still have to like stay focused at actually doing your job. How are ways that, and how do you stop being a project manager and cope with like personal, you know, just life things, you know, because people think that like, and I'm the first one, Taylor tells me every day, like there's a life out of John Bell. But the issue is for me, they're very, very blended. But how do you be in construction?
Well, yeah.
Handle that.
Well, you mentioned time. And we only have so many hours in the day. Right? So I know that I have control of what I do the moment that I walk in these doors and I leave them. So while I'm here, all I can do is the most that I can do and the best that I can do it. So that when I leave, I know that I did right by you.
Yeah, but I'm not talking
Right
about
by
that,
Al.
Will.
Yeah, but
I'm talking about how do you
So what I'm saying is
how do you handle being at work but also managing your personal life?
So I do everything that I can at work so that when I leave work, I can disconnect.
That's good. Yeah, I see it.
And be present in after hours and do what I need to do at home.
So how do you physically disconnect?
How do I disconnect?
There's a asking for a friend.
Well, right now in December, I put on my Christmas playlist. It's called Bingle Gels, and it
He
puts
shared it with me last year.
it puts me in a great mood. It's a great playlist.
What's it
I can
called?
share. It's
What's
called
it called?
Spotify.
on Spotify.
Bingle
It's
Gels.
called Bingle Gels.
That sounds like a P Diddy album.
No, it is not a P Diddy. It is not a P Diddy album. Taylor Swift's son it, so maybe it is. But
Oh my god. All right. So how do you disconnect? Oh, that's it. You when you get in the car, that's it. You're
I
done.
mean,
You make a
sometimes,
U-turn and go back.
sometimes it's hard, man. Sometimes it's hard to disconnect. Sometimes you're thinking about things that you have to do.
It depends.
Yeah, it depends. It depends. But at the end of the day, you have to.
Well,
How
look-
do you do it? I don't.
It's tough because
It's tough.
This is tough for me because for years I've always put my work over everything,
100%.
and I had issues in the past with my wife and everything because I just don't stop.
Workaholic.
I just don't stop. You know, I go home right now, and you think I'm home, but I'm not home. I'm really thinking what I'm gonna do tomorrow, where I'm gonna be tomorrow, this job, who I'm gonna meet tomorrow. So it's always in my mind.
It's really hard to disconnect.
Adrian, do you think the client knows all that people go through to build their projects?
No.
I don't think so. I think the client just sees the project being done and all the paperwork and all the things that they see, but I don't think they see the stress and what all the background things that happen, like what Henry was saying.
So I want to ask you about how you feel about stress in this industry. But before you do that, so Adrian was an intern with us from FIU, and then we ended up hiring him essentially full time. I don't know why we're even kidding ourselves.
He's a full-time employee.
Yeah,
Project engineer.
yeah. And he just kept coming. He's like this cat.
They couldn't get enough.
All right. So at the beginning, through your internship, you wanted to be on the field. Everybody, I wanted you to be in the office, but I didn't want to be in the office. So I'm like, okay, fine. So you went to the field. You were in the field for how long? And talk to me about your internship.
For 2 months, 2.5 months, around there.
And how did you feel about the internship?
I liked it. I always thought that I liked the field more than the office.
But now you're a full-time like project manager.
Yeah.
So how do you feel the difference between being a superintendent and being a project manager? Like, is there one? Can you pick one right now?
I would pick a project manager just because.
Wow,
He's converted.
That's my dog.
He's been converted.
For two reasons. One, because I've spent the most time being a project manager, and two, because I've had two good, incredible mentors.
Yes.
Teaching me and
Me and Jay.
guiding me.
Nah.
Jay and Will definitely made this experience worthwhile, and I learned a lot.
So talk to me about what you do on a daily basis. What does Adrian Gonzalez do on a daily basis that somebody may not, that maybe your client, there's a client on the job, maybe that they don't know what you do. Tell them what you do.
Like RFIs, submittals,
What's an RFI?
requests for information.
Perfect. So there's a question,
Yeah, there's something missing, a question,
Where does that
something.
question go? Talk to me about the whole process. Because
Well,
that RFI doesn't just get to
Yeah.
you.
Right.
What is an RFI? How does it start?
the superintendents get to the project manager, and they discuss what's missing, what's up, and then
What do you mean what's up?
what's missing and what.
So there's let's say they're on the field and there's like a discrepancy, anything that they have a question, any doubt, any doubt.
Question, anything that's missing.
They send it to you so you can ask the question.
To ask a question.
Request for information.
If you can't answer, then you send that.
Yeah, you always,
Right,
because
exactly.
sometimes they're on the field, superintendents on the field, they may not have the drawings, they might be like in
They're
the
running
car, they
around.
might
Yeah,
be
they're
driving, they
running.
may be going something like, hey, look at, and I do it all the time, hey, look into this for me. And then if they can, then I'll go in, I'll start looking. All right, so you picked the PM side. Why do you pick, and I thought that you were going to answer that, by the way. Why did you pick the
I
PM
didn't.
side?
I'm honestly, I thought he was.
No,
gonna say
I know why, but tell me why
He's had a sparkle in
you
his
would pick
eye
the PM
lately.
side. Other than you have more experience, but like why do you like the PM side more than the field?
Because I actually do like the business side. I feel like the superintendent's more of like the, the hands-on, dirty work. Even though they might not be actually doing the labor work. But I actually like seeing like the behind the scenes of what a project consists of and what a project has to do to build it up.
B, you were with. How was he as an intern? Like, what was the feedback that you? Because he was talking about.
He was very green.
He was talking about there being mentors, but at the beginning there was a couple other mentors I think he forgot to mention.
Yeah, I was surprised when he said that.
The whole team
I was actually surprised when he picked project managers right now. Because I remember asking him the same question back then, and it was a different answer.
Yeah.
It was always superintendent.
He told us the same thing.
And he was always like, yeah, I really like, hands-on. I like being in the field. I like being more involved with the actual work on an every day-to-day basis, like physical there. So that was a big surprise to me. Him to me, bro, like he started off as somebody that was really like, it was like he was a shell of himself, He was really shy, really laid back.
Still am.
He still is. He's still working on that.
He's opening up though.
The good thing that Adrian has, that he went through the process of being in the
He
field.
saw every phase of it.
So when you go through the phase of being in the field, I always told him, I said, if you want to be a PM, you're going to be a good PM. You know why? Because you know the field. If you know the field, you know how to be a good PM.
Extremely important.
Because that's certainly important. If somebody tells you something, you know how to really vision what you're talking about. Not really just look at the drawings. And
The project manager is always on the field. Like, if they're up to Will, we'll be on the field every day.
Yeah. So what we did,
Yeah, put me in a room.
what
in the
we
field. I
always
would love
done,
that.
he was in the field before, so he knows. And then what makes you a good PM, and I've always said it, is having both fields. You have the field and you have the PM.
And the PM side. So listen, so maybe people don't understand what it is. So people have to like actually build the job and supervise the job. Well, the people actually build the job are the workers. I always like, those are the toughest people at the end of the day. Like the workers that actually like physically do the work, they're the ones that have my respect. I can do everybody's job here. I cannot do their job. Like that's what they do is extremely undervalued,
100%.
And I just think that as a superintendent and as somebody that comes from the field, like I have a massive respect for what you guys do and for what, the whole process. So the superintendent is on the field on a daily basis, doing the safety meetings, making sure that the work is doing properly, reading the drawings out there, asking questions. The guy usually, or the girl, because there's a lot of women in construction, 20% of them are women in construction. They put in their hard hat, their vest, and they're on the actual job site, and those are the superintendents. Project managers are like, they should do like a Netflix documentary on project managers, because it's like nobody real. It's like the Secret Service. Everybody just sees like that Trump survived, but nobody realizes everybody that tried to protect them, And that's what you guys do. You guys protect project managers. You give them the contracts. You give them the information. You're making sure that the crane is already paid for, that everybody is doing things in order. So all we have to do is just literally just put those dots together and those lines and just build what it's, what we do really isn't that complicated. We're just following the instructions.
And on top of that, it's not only project managers dividing with superintendents, it's being a team as both. You know what I mean? Because as a project manager and as a superintendent, I can give thoughts like a project manager can give you thoughts on some things. But I'm in the fields.
It's a dance.
It is a little bit.
It's a dance.
That's why I stand right there all day and I'm like, Windows, boom, because I'm building it in my mind.
It's just like a superintendent. You went through it, he went through it, I went through it. When you physical work, the job, and you become a superintendent, it becomes a good superintendent.
Hey, you become.
You appreciate the hard work.
Because
people think that superintendents
you know
are
what
like
these guys are doing.
Yeah.
You give them the ideas of what they're
But
doing.
sometimes people, they don't understand.
No, they don't.
What you guys do.
They don't.
Yeah.
So you guys have the next 25 minutes to explain to people really what you do, because every single time that we send the price and it says superintendent and project manager, every single time they're like, oh, why is that so high? Why those people are going to be there? How much? No, we don't need that. No. You might not need that. We need that. So it's like people can't. People don't appreciate they just think that it just gets built.
Coming from the field, supervision and project management is super underappreciated. Super.
Super appreciated.
Super
It's just
under.
like-
When you are out there busting your butt, sweating, and you're killing yourself, and you see your supervisor, you don't know what he's doing. You don't know what's going on in his head. You don't know any of his workload. You just see him standing there.
Yeah.
You automatically assume like, damn, I want that job. That guy's not doing anything.
It's just
Yeah.
It's two different beasts.
Yeah,
One
it's
is a
easy to see it that way. Of course.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Exactly.
To see that way. I always want to be a superintendent. I want to be the guy that does nothing.
Little do they know.
Little do they know.
But Henry just said it. He's having dinner with his wife and he can't stop thinking about the job.
100%. Because you all your response.
And
The
like-
blame guy. This is how I always saw it. Once I became a superintendent, superintendent is the blame guy.
Yeah.
He is the guy that's going to get blamed for every single thing that goes wrong. It's a different type of exhaustion, a different type of battle. When you're physically out there, you're physically tired. You get home exhausted. You don't want to do anything.
In the sun all day.
You're in the sun all day. It
Hold on,
just
hold
beats you.
Not only that, we have the ability to help. That's why when you work as a team, as a project manager, with the superintendent, because you guys deal with contracts, you guys deal with people giving you pricing. Now, you come up and hey, this guy's giving me a price for so much. We're in the field every day, so I know what it takes, practically almost in every sub, what it is to get this job done.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they're gonna give you a price as what Oscar's already ready because he knows everything. He was out there. He knows what it cost. He knows what it was with. So when somebody comes with him with a price, he knows that they're overhead with the price. You know, so you say, hey, this guy's over.
Hold on, I want to ask Ron a question. Ron, how do you, and Taylor's not mic'd up, but you maybe speak for both of you guys. Do you guys feel like you ever try to like actually capture the difficulties and the actual workload of what these people do in this office? Like,
Yeah, of course. That's part of like the highlight of each video that I try to make is show the work, show the people, show the what's behind like the pretty shots, like behind the pretty end result. It's the people who built it or like the people who help build it. Like you guys, you're like overseeing everything, making sure everything gets paid for, making sure everything kind of falls in line, getting subs in line, all of that. It's you try to show that the most because a pretty building's a pretty building, but people forget people build buildings. Everything you walk into, somebody touched with their hands, and like even like the PMs and the supervisors and all of that, it was touched in a way by everybody, and people don't see that. So it's for me, like for the creator and the guy who films you guys, hell yeah, I'm trying to highlight you guys. I'm trying to show you. You guys are the LeBron. You guys are the Wades. You guys are the Haslams. You guys are the everybody, dude. Everybody.
It's a battle, man. Just like I was saying, the field has a physical exhaustion. The biggest difference I see is that the field, at least when I was on the field speaking for myself, you finish your job, you're very tired, you go home, you don't think about work. The next day is coming, you know you have more physical work.
you think as a laborer, as a superintendent?
As a laborer, as
Yeah,
someone
like-
that's actually
yeah, with
swinging
no
that hammer.
responsibility.
Right.
Hey, the worker.
You just do the work and then
You
you
clock in,
end
you
your
clock
day.
out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you become someone that's more of a supervisor role, project management,
All right, freeze.
it's harder to disconnect.
Freeze. We've been talking about how bad a or how stressful. Nobody's gonna ever want to become a project manager.
No, I mean,
so let's talk about what are the beauties of being a project manager.
Man, that end result, man, that knowing that blood, sweat, and tears you put into a job site and making sure that you have every single thing. Like, it's just people think like, oh, it's just mechanical, electrical, plumbing. Like, there's so many little tiny things for every single scope, and if you miss one thing, you have a world of problems. And it's just when you see that end result, the building is done.
worth it.
You have that ribbon cutting. It's like, damn, like
What do you think, Will?
I did this. I did that.
Will's gonna drop some knowledge on us.
No.
And then
What do you mean?
No,
hold
I
on,
just
he let him finish, and then you can do Henry. Henry's next.
it's not an easy field, but I think that's also part of why it's so great.
Yeah.
You want if you're gonna be at work for 50 let's say 40 50 hours, right? Let's just say 40
How many hours?
hours.
No,
right? 40. It's 50 minimum.
Yeah, it's like 50 to 55.
Yeah, 50 minimum.
100%.
But like,
We should change
if,
that on our-
if you're gonna be, yeah, I'm not sure if that's what I signed.
Superintendent. You got that Saturday.
It's like, do something that's gonna challenge you. Do something that's gonna sharpen you as a person. Do something, you know. We deal with so many different people. We deal with things that are hard. Yeah, they're stressful, but if you can learn to handle this, you'll see that a lot of other things that happen in your life will be also easier to handle.
Yeah. I think work.
Yeah.
What do you
Work.
think?
Yeah. No. 100%.
You can't even drop the mic because it's being held.
No, I mean that's how I feel, man.
Like, you know how many times I take stress home with me, and I'm like, damn. Then I feel bad. Like I'll go home like so stressed up from
No,
work,
but-
and like my wife's like, hey,
but
like
this
you're
is
at home. Like stop thinking about work. I'm like, damn. Like yeah, I brought my stress home with me. Like so many times it's happened to me. I'm like I have to check myself, bro. Like so many times.
But you gotta look at the things
Yeah,
that
man.
you do in the day. You gotta look at the things that you do that day and say, "Damn, man, you just heard Oscar and tell you how great you do out there." You know, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to leave it at the door, but bro, you gotta look at yourself and be like, "I had a good day, and I did."
I think
did
I've gotten
the
better at
best
that.
that I
I've
could do.
definitely got an.
But-
Go, Henry.
But let me tell you
Perspective
something.
goes a long way.
Let me tell you something.
No, perspective is
Project
everything.
managers
Yeah.
Have a lot on their plate.
Who?
Project managers.
Oh, of course.
They have a lot on their plate. They do a lot of stuff. I know because I deal with them to help. And there's been times that I've
Great
been-
help.
There's been times that I've been in jobs where I had to even draft RFIs.
Yeah, you
To help
superintendents would have to do with other.
Exactly. So I try to partake because I'm a team player. I don't just try to bombard the guy.
I've
If
never
I need
called
help,
Henry and he complained about doing something.
You know,
No, you
and-
call. You
Oh,
literally
never.
call.
Henry, please, I need you. Can you do that? Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got you. I'll send it to
So-
you right
What
now.
happened?
And same to you. I'm not taking
know?
no. And Josue too, that couldn't make it today.
So that's
guys
what
are amazing.
That's what gets you. That's what gets you teamwork. That's why I say, and I've always say, I don't know how Oscar did it when I started with him. He's like an all-man show.
No, but we're all learning.
And I've always
but
said
I think, but all you guys.
I don't know
you
how he
guys
does it and keeps everything on track.
Yeah, but what you guys aren't realizing is that you guys are that or becoming that. Everybody here, even the person that answers the phone, the person that answers the emails, the person that's printing things, the person that's organizing, anybody that works here, they can do a lot of people's job. You know, like what we have here is very special, especially the people in the office. Like there's some days that because it's hard. Some superintendents can do what a project manager does, and some project managers can't do what a superintendent
But
does.
I've been around big companies, and I know that we're set apart. John Bell
Definitely.
is set apart.
Definitely lives up to it.
Definitely from any big company that I've worked for. You know why? Because you got it all under control. I think it is because starting with the owner of the company. Okay, when the owner of the company has the wisdom and has the drive and has the way that you can go to him and do anything, that's all you need. And you know what? Everybody else is gonna follow.
No, but I feel like a massive responsibility to you guys. You know, to you guys, like everybody here, to your family.
I think about that all the time.
So I was at Suffolk, right? I was at Suffolk. I was a superintendent in the field. I never wanted to start a company. So what happens is
You had a vision.
No, I actually didn't have a vision. What I was very like, I like to be moving.
Ambitious.
I'm very ambitious. So like when things like aren't moving, I get a little worried. So I said, hey, maybe this is the time that we could do this, because while we're there, the sign where people started calling me, hey, can you do this? No, I don't do that. Hey, can you do this? No, and people kept calling me, and I was like, oh, people keep calling me. You know, I could have made some easier money in running the company. But during the time that I resigned and the time that I did, you can ask Isabella, and we even talk about it in a few of the episodes. I cried every day for 2 weeks because I knew deep down inside that I was never prepared nor ready for what was about to come. So, but when you like really praying, you're asking God, like, yo, God, deliver. Because a lot of people, they pray, and then God gives them what they want, and they're not ready for it. You know, like I always say, like, be careful what you pray for, because God might just give it to you. So, but I really felt, that's why it's called the set apart. I really felt that God set us apart to open this company. And we're like, God really set us apart. That's why it's called set apart. It's not set apart because we're different. It's set apart because God set us apart. So I felt like, honestly, I have if this is something I'm asking God to do, then there's a massive amount of responsibility that comes with that. So that's why, like, when it's Saturday, Sunday, or it's every day, the excitement is, like I signed up for this. Like, this is the bet that I made. So we're gonna play in it.
But let me tell you something
That's
that
why I do it.
I've had a company, and I did the same thing you did, and I don't know how you did it because
It's a team. It's a
just
team.
the beginning that
The
I
team
did
is
it,
the most important thing.
just the beginning that I did it, I had to do estimating. I had to do.
But look, if you would have,
Pay
and
apps,
obviously,
I had to do everything myself.
hindsight is 2020.
So-
But the faster that we started delegating things, that's why I tell everybody here: delegate. Just keep delegating, delegated and delegated and delegated and delegated. The more you delegate, the more you're allowed to grow. The problem is that people think that they're superior by doing more. And it's not about doing more. It's just about, like yesterday, I was joking around the staff meeting, like, oh, I wish I had an assistant. I wish I didn't have to write those notes. I wish I didn't have to do that invite. I wish I didn't have to pick up my dry cleaner. I wish I didn't have to, like, put gas. Because there's so much more I want to do. So if all the time of the stuff that I do, like, that's like, honestly, kind of like a waste of time, I don't want to do that. Because my time is so valuable. What's back to time? Time to me is everything. So the amount of time that I can be like, I don't know anything. It just, and also money isn't everything. People think that money is everything. From somebody that had a lot of money to no money to a lot of money and back to no money, you're never going to be happier because of money. You're never going to feel more at peace. You're just going to feel more comfortable. I'll tell you that. The people that say that money doesn't mean happiness is because they don't have any money. But it's nicer to be in first class. It's nicer to have that nicer shirt. It's nicer to have the nice shoes and go on the vacation. That is nicer. And also living paycheck to paycheck is also hard. But when you strip all that away, that stress is still
One
there.
thing I see that John Bell has is that you guys have the drive and you're still involved. I have owners that I've worked with, they don't even visit the project. They don't even know what the project is.
Yeah, it's
And that's really not good. I mean, you don't have to be there every day, but you have to know your project, where it's at.
Yeah, the problems.
You got to deal with it.
No, you just got to know the problems. You don't need to know everything.
And you
that's
know
going
why?
good.
Because you have the drive, and you've always involved, no matter which
you
way
step
you
in.
want.
You step in when we need you to step in, and it's
Even when we don't need you to step
right,
in, you
even when
step
you
in,
don't need
which is appreciated.
We're on this together.
And they have people that you don't know. I've worked around with people that I don't know how they have this guy. That is running their
That's
project.
why I think, and I actually want to ask Adrian before we talk about but stress. Do you get stressed out?
Honestly, a little bit.
I think
but
it's
not-
just starting.
Yeah, it's just starting, but obviously not compared to you guys. I'm sure you guys are way too stressful. But sometimes I do. Sometimes I go into bed saying like, what do I have to do the very next morning? Because I don't want to hear it. The very next morning.
one of us, right? No, but
Do you think Will and I beat you up at times, or do you think we need to step it up?
I think you do, but in a nice way, in a good way. Which I mean it. I appreciate it, but I think you, again, like I said last time, I think you can step it up.
Oh, okay.
you want us to step it up more.
Just for my sake.
He likes the pressure. He wants to work under
Stress
pressure.
is good though. It means you care.
Yeah, 100%.
You're thinking about
Well,
things. You
The good
want
thing
things to
is
be
that
perfect.
Everybody here cares.
That's a main.
I
That's
I
a big
think
thing. that
I
sets
do
us
feel that.
apart.
I don't think there's anybody that works for John Bell Construction that doesn't
That
care.
doesn't care. Yeah.
I don't think you'd be here.
So
Hell of a hiring process.
that's what the problem is, that they care.
Yeah, no, our hiring process.
You know, when you care, you're a candidate that is gonna do whatever it takes because you care about your own job. I don't care about what he does. See, I take it to heart, like if it was my company. So that's the issue with each worker.
Listen, you guys look. We're gonna go into rapid fire when Brian comes back. This is the second podcast, by the way, that he goes to the bathroom. we have to drain him before we start next one. At the end of the day, what you guys do is phenomenal. There's so much detail in the plans. There's so much effort. There's so much like passion. I wish, and it's impossible, not even through this podcast. I think that even if Ron were to follow everybody around, we'd have 6 Rons, and they follow us from the second that we go to bed to the second we go to sleep. I think will be the only way that we could ever encapsulate truly what you guys do on a daily basis. So either you're a superintendent out in the field, a project manager in the office, or you're an intern becoming a project engineer. Like, at the end of the day, the same way that I pour down, people are pouring down, some people are pouring up, everybody's just helping each other. And I think that's really something. My last question was like, what really sets us apart? And I think that the dynamic that we have as a group, between project managers and superintendents is honestly is very, very healthy. Because I always lean to the field, and I'm gonna push the office as much as it possibly can, because I know that the office is the most important thing. The field I know it sounds bad, but how long
with a
would
good project manager, anybody could supervise.
Exactly, I agree.
Yeah.
Like let's say for the windows or a shop drawing and engineering, anything, it might take you 40 hours to complete that, and the superintendent can do it in a day. That should just talk about the difficulties and the intricacies of one profession to the other. So I used to be on the field. I used to see them, killing themselves, and I used to be as a superintendent. I can do this a lot faster, and I get all the credit. Why would I be in the office? But now, coming on the ownership side, I've also become the project manager. I'm like, the project executive on every single job. So I've realized, it's not about, there's a big dynamic that needs to go involved, Hey, welcome back, Brian.
Welcome back, Brian.
Sir.
I came back and prepared.
Where'd you get that?
You went? You didn't even get them anything?
Mine's hiding back there. I haven't wanted to.
Taylor, do you mind? Jason,
I did ask her.
He's dying of thirst here. He's saying.
I just didn't want to do it.
No,
Yeah,
I know. We
I
might
know.
need ice though, but it's fine.
It's all right. It's all right.
And that's
The cameo we needed.
The cameo we needed, Taylor. Now.
And one thing I'm gonna appreciate is Brian coming on and taking over. What you do?
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, coming over.
Couldn't have done it without your help.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
He reminds me of
It's a team effort.
what I did.
No, he's doing a good job.
And he's doing a great job.
No, he's very detailed.
He's
If
detailed.
you see
That's a
something,
big deal. That's a big deal.
you guys don't realize, but
And he
every-
asks me things, right away, and let's do this. And so he's on top of his
No,
ball
you don't
game.
have, and you don't have to tell
You know-
Brian. You don't have to tell Brian anything twice.
Thank you, Taylor.
Yeah.
You never have to tell anything, Brian. And if he can't,
you tell him, and he's gonna get it done.
if he hasn't told you, it's probably because he still hasn't found the answer.
And if he has an issue, he calls me, and I have the issue, and I have the answer. Boom, and he does it.
Yeah,
Nice.
Brian's definitely
You know?
not afraid to ask questions.
He's
which
not
is-
afraid to ask questions, and he's gonna get it done.
I call you like
That's
5
what I
times a
like
day.
it because it's a
Every
drive.
day.
It's a drive to get
At
it
least I
done.
don't call you at 7 though.
You can call me.
I always wait till like 9.
You can call me.
8:30,
You can call me at
sometimes
7.
It's a drive to get it done.
Henry's calling Will, and Will's like,
Well, Will said that Henry calls him at 7. I look at him like, you're lucky. I don't call you that.
So-
Henry calls me though. Henry calls me.
So what I need is he detailed.
Yeah, he
and
calls
I
me
call Jay in
sometimes.
the morning when I got to deal with something that he's got to deal with, or Josue.
Yeah. No, you guys are.
I just happen to have Josue and Henry Josue and Brian on all my jobs, and Henry's kind of a floater,
Right.
He's kind
I
of
got
every.
Henry, I got Henry on mine.
Exactly. So I do get calls in the morning, and I drive. My way to work is conversations.
So I got him in, but Brian is really good because he's got it all handled. If he has an issue, he'll call me, and then we'll solve the problem, and he's got it done. Boom. You know what I mean? So he's on top of his ball game. Instead of going to you, if I have an issue, they come to me, and then we get it solved.
No, it's a good dynamic. But
Henry's definitely the guy to go to when you're exhausted all the options and you don't want to go to Oscar.
That's true.
Definitely. For me, it's more like my first step is Henry. Then if not, then Jay. And then if Jay can't, then
Nah, but
then I'll
I know
reach
you
out
guys
to
keep
Oscar.
saying that shit, but honestly, I hate it, bro. I
Wait,
hate it.
you hate what?
No, because you
I
got
hate-
enough on your
That
plate,
won't
bro.
go to you?
Yeah.
I know.
Because we don't want to overwhelm you.
It,
And also,
It's our job.
the thing is also that it doesn't help us because we don't want to put that pressure on ourselves at the same time.
And if we can
because
solve the problem, why would we need you? All right, if we can't solve the problem, we're gonna go to you.
It's not a problem. This is the big difference that you guys think, and it's important that you guys really listen to it. It's not that I need you to come for problems. The problems, I know the problems. I see them. I know them. I'm watching. I'm obsessed with this. I know everything that's happening. I know every single problem. I'm just waiting for you to tell me. The thing is that I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stop. was not leading in the way that I needed to be led, and I was like micromanaging those aspects. So now I already know the problem. I see it. I'm just there like nervous.
When are they gonna
making
come
sure
to me?
that, and then when I'm doing the calcs in my head and I'm saying they have 2 more weeks to figure this out. And in 2 weeks, because I know that it's going to affect the schedule, it affects my schedule, affects my relationship with the client, and it affects my job. So you guys can do whatever you want as long as it doesn't affect my job and me being a leader and messing up with our company. But there's a lot of times that you guys don't see it. I'm pushing you to an extent to see how far you go. Because I guarantee you, anybody that's ever been pushed has never said, hey, you pushed me too far. No, you look back and you're like, oh, I didn't think.
Thankful for it.
Yeah, you're very thankful for it.
That's right. That's why you.
And that's why I am the way I am. Nobody's ever gonna say, "Hey, you made me too much better last year."
Yeah,
man, I'm making way too much money
one
now
thing I
because
totally
I've
understand.
learned so much from you and so much from the company.
I totally understand that because like I myself, like growing up, I was like an athlete. So like I understand that aspect of like being pushed to past your limits, where like you don't understand like what's currently going on in that same moment. But then afterwards, you're like you see the result from it, and you're like, wow, like I'm so thankful for being pushed that much, because if I wasn't pushed to that certain extent, then we wouldn't have reached that goal.
I've been pushed
But
past
listen,
my
that's
limit.
why. But that's why, like last Thursday, like at the Thanksgiving party, I passed my limit by like 40%, and I usually never pass my limit past like 20. But last week I really pushed my limit, and then I kind of go knowing, but I always like to really push the limit because then it's the weekend. I'm with my family, and I don't have to, like what Will said. I have given it, like I exhausted all my energy, and I have like this tank, so I kind of know how am I feeling. If I'm feeling good, I can push. Like last week, I went Friday to the job site, went Saturday at job site. Like I'm there, That didn't take anything out of me because I had a lot to give. But when you don't have a lot to give, that little extra Saturday can like kind of like eat up into like your space. That like, and you need like every second sometimes.
But
So that's what I'm saying. Don't think that I'm ever like,
Yeah.
that I'm ever saying that you're coming to me with problems. I know the problem. I just rather you say, hey, look, there's this issue with the steel beam. I also remember everything. So but
part of
and
that.
I don't want, and I listen, and this is the last thing. I don't want you guys to feel. I want you guys to know that we're doing this together. This is not me and you. This is us. So if I'm thinking of something, I'm just saying like, hey, like this, like look out for this because this is gonna happen because I know it's gonna happen. You keep doing it enough. The construction doesn't change. There's foundations, there's slabs, there's walls, there's windows, there's a roof, there's paint, and then there's interiors. Every single job is built the same. So you kind of like start expecting the same result.
What we used to do before, that I'm used to, is that we used to get declined. We used to have OAC meetings, right? That you always have. The OAC meeting where you guys in charge of that. But what I do is what you do, that you tell them what it is, what it takes to get this done.
I just help them, but the same way
So
I
what
help
happened
them.
So I help the client, but I tell them in reality of what this takes to do this. And then in the OAC meeting, they used to look back and say, oh, wow, I didn't know that I was going to do this.
That's important, but I
it's
think everybody
important.
needs to know everybody's worth. Like
Yeah.
I think like
It ain't like we're out there, you know what I'm saying? I said, you don't know what it takes
I
to
think
do
as
this.
men, even the Bible says like the number one thing that we want is respect, and when respect is lost in any relationship, like it's completely gone. So and that's what we want, like as men, like we just want for people to respect what we actually do, and women. And it's not just but in our case, men. Honestly, like how difficult it really is to absorb all the pain and all the stress and all the stuff from our clients. You look at the residential side, since they can't really afford that on the the normal, they affects their marriage, they're getting divorced, like the process is miserable. But it's not until somebody can really invest into people like you, because at the end of the day, you're not coming with them. You guys have to also realize you guys are not going to be left at that house. You guys are not part of the house. You bring no value to the actual house. You bring value to the construction, and they won't be able to build it without you. So when a client sees that, they say, "Oh, this table costs $5,000. Oh, this looks like $5,000. Oh, this mic costs $400. Yeah, that's a good price for this mic." But how do you explain everything that you guys do before, and then be like, "Oh, they're doing all that? Oh, for $300,000? Oh, that's a great price." They're never gonna say that. It's not until after they're like, "Oh, we could have never have done the job if Brian wasn't the superintendent of the job with Jay. Like that job would never have happened." And it's not until after that. I always tell the clients on the first day, I promise you, if you can see the job completed and know how you'll feel at the end, this will be the easiest decision of your life.
Yeah.
But the problem is they don't see it. Listen, I want you
30 million
guys, before we go
for-
into rapid fire, this is really important. I want you guys to realize, and I've been saying this for a long time, the issue that we had before in terms of like culture and stuff like that, which I always be the first one to talk about it, is that the team that we had wasn't prepared for the work that we were going to do. So I always used to tell them, hey, catch up, keep learning. You have to learn at the pace that we're growing. So what happens is now it's a race against us against them. And honestly, that's not a good relationship. So what we started doing, maybe 3 years ago, is just finding people that were overqualified. Overqualified, that worked hard, and it's not overqualified in their knowledge, because I'll give Brian as an example. Like,
I've learned a lot here.
Brian has learned tremendously, but Brian had attributes
That
in his
drive.
personality
Yeah.
that anybody be willing to teach, and anybody can teach. Like, if you're watching this, like, this is very, very simple in what it is. Construction, the part of construction is the easiest part of what we do.
Correct.
The hardest part is managing the expectations, managing the stress, managing the people. People say,
Tracking
"Oh, I'm a
everything.
very good people person." Construction is about people. You tell people what to do. Our job as a GC is to tell people what to do. And if they don't do it, then they get fired. That's simple. It's managing people is very easy. It's managing the risk and making sure that client is always happy. That's my
Having
number one
that
job.
relationship with the client. Yeah.
That client has to always be happy. Always be happy. Because back 2 years ago, I promised those people, I said, hey, I promise I'll never let you down. You got to give me a shot. Well, have you ever done that building? No, I've never done it. But they give you a shot. Which I had talked about before. Why do I am always? What was I felt like this is a responsibility I have, and I have a lot of respect.
You have a commitment.
But I also do it for the client. That's my word. In life, you don't have a lot of things. The word is one of the few things that you really have. So if I'm giving my word, and John Bell is a brand, it's an image, and Miami is extremely, extremely small, which is honestly, it's a massive risk. And even having
And
a podcast,
competitive.
hold on. But having even a podcast, is it's hard. And even like through our media, it's hard because we're exposing ourselves. We're being vulnerable so that the client can actually see us, We're not hiding from anybody.
We got a centennial anniversary coming up on the Venetian pool renovations, right? Nobody's ever done
Are you
something
excited about
like
that job? How do you
before.
feel about
I'm very excited
jobs
about
like
that job.
Okay, so talk to me. How do you feel about just some jobs that are not all jobs are important, but there's some jobs that are like you just have like you have a lot of pride
some
behind,
projects are very unique. You've got to really put the time in to take a look at the drawings and find things that are in question, and then also that have impact to the community. Right? Think about what that's going to do to the city of Coral Gables. This is a big deal.
restoring history.
Yeah, you're restoring history. It's amazing. It's amazing that we can do projects like that.
All right, rapid fire. Here we go. That was beautiful, Will.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. Jay, outside of work, what is your favorite thing to do that is...
It's gonna sound very cliche, but it's 100,000,000% accurate. Spend time with my family, my kids, being there for my children. That's my number one thing. Number one thing. Outside of work, that's all I think about. My kids.
For me, it's playing golf. I play golf because
One day I'll
it just distracts me.
You've done the kid raising.
Listen,
kid raising
4 hours. 4 hours, I'm not thinking about work. And then it gets me off, and then I'm back into work again. So I think golf has been the most therapeutic.
What's your 2025 goal? Let's go quick. If not, you lose the goal.
Stop biting my nails.
Oh, that's impossible. I don't even know why you did that one.
Nah, but that's
Brian,
the goal.
what's your favorite time of the day?
My favorite time of the day.
Going home.
You set me up, bro. That's not fair.
Disconnecting.
Yeah, favorite time of the day is definitely when I get home after I shower, after I eat dinner, and I just get to like wind down for like that 1.5 hour of the day where I could just have some like absolute silence in my backyard for like half an hour, and I just like shut it all off for a little bit, and then go back in and go back right back to it.
My favorite time is before work and after work. Listen, don't forget that. I can't with these people. Honestly, my favorite is after I take a shower and I had dinner and I get my snack, because I have a snack every night. You guys have a snack every night?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a difficult challenge.
Yeah, but listen, don't have to.
I get a test of that.
But listen,
Which of those snacks?
try not to have like a snack. I'll get like a yogurt and I'll get like a protein bar. This guy gets the donuts.
Yogurt,
McDonald's.
Ice cream.
10 seconds in the microwave.
Cookies and ice cream.
All right, Adrian, how does it feel being the youngest guy or girl, but in this case the guy, at JBC? How does it feel?
It feels a little weird, but I feel like I'm like a sponge. You know, I absorb every type of information, whether it's the PM, the super, or accounting, or like the office stuff. But so I hear things, and I just kind of like absorb different aspects. I sit next to Ivan in masonry, so sometimes I catch myself looking at a screen instead of doing like RFIs or submittals, but
That's right.
So that's why the RFI took forever. That's what happened.
We gotta put a folder. We gotta put a folder up there.
Everybody was waiting for that.
Just one question.
Everybody was waiting for that.
Just one question
that's
today.
hilarious.
Are you gonna be here for 30 years? I hope so.
I hope so. That's the
Okay.
goal. That's the goal.
That's the real goal, Adrian.
What's your goal?
That's the goal. The goal is to grow. The grow. I'm here. I feel like I'm here for a reason. I've been given the opportunity, so I want to keep that
Do you feel
opportunity.
lucky?
Definitely.
Well, what's your favorite restaurant?
My favorite restaurant? Jeez, man.
Some Mexican.
I don't know why Chipotle came to mind, but it's
Because it's
it's not Chipotle.
Bro, I don't accept that answer.
But that's the OG. That's the OG favorite restaurant where you could go. You could get a burrito for $8. It's not that anymore.
Ronald,
It's not that anymore.
Ronald
Not
picked
that
it.
anymore.
Ronald said Chipotle.
I'm out of here.
You said that?
I'll mess up 2 burritos in one sitting.
Those are two small babies, man. God bless you.
What time you go to sleep? Because I think me and him probably relate more on this.
I go to sleep.
Depends. I know it
It
depends.
depends, but I usually I try to be in bed before 11. So between 10 and 11.
That's probably a goal of mine.
What time you go to bed late?
Do you
huh?
actually sleep
Right. If
at
I
that
told
time?
you the time I go to sleep, you wouldn't believe me.
Tell me.
Last night I slept 4 hours.
What?
Yeah, I don't know how you do that.
I go to sleep every day like at 3 o'clock.
I need
Why do you
seven.
think? Why is that it?
And I do only 6 or 5.
I don't know. I just feel like that's my time, you know?
That's your time.
That's my time. That's my time to be myself, like just for me.
When you're awake.
Yeah.
Because with the kids, you put the
I
kids
go
to bed.
I
and
go
you finally
home and
have-
I go to by the time I'm done with my kids and then dinner and everything, it's like 10:30 at night. So if I go to sleep then I'm just kind of feel like I'm stuck in a cycle, you know? I need that time to decompress.
That makes sense.
And four hours, it's not a lot of time.
How do
But
you-
when it's 10:30 at night, 4 hours, you end up it's 2:30 in the morning, and you're like, "Fuck, I need to go to sleep."
How do you express yourself during that time, Jay?
I feel like he's
During
on
this
his phone.
time,
I
what are
don't
you
have
doing?
to. I don't have to. I mean, I'm on my computer.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm on my computer. I'm a geek in that aspect. I'm always on a computer. If when I'm at work, I'm on a computer. When I'm home, I'm on my computer.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you doing on the computer?
Crypto. YouTube.
All right. If there's one coin to be buying right now, what do you think people should be investing in right now?
I would say no. XRP's. It's already had his run. I would say Ethereum. It hasn't had his run yet.
That's about to.
It's gonna run.
Bro, tell them about
I gotta get
Flipcat.
back into it.
We need Flip.
No,
Flipcat
I'm not gonna get into
bounce.
the
I
meme
gotta get back
coins.
into it, bro.
Listen.
I was into it
If
heavy
you
back
wanna
then,
if you
and
wanna
then
be a
I pulled out.
degenerate, you download Dex Screener. It's an app, lets you see all the meme coins on Solana network, and
He
you
knows some things.
Hey, one thing.
you invest in some meme coins. All right, you can put $300 in a meme
Sometimes,
coin and have
hey.
a $10,000 portfolio in
Hey,
a
one
week.
thing I tell you is for sure.
It's a gamble though.
We do not give any financial.
No, this is
advice.
not
Right.
not financial advice.
This is not financial advice.
No, but you haven't heard his story, right?
Please, sir.
I hit 3 times in a row.
Oh, yeah, man.
3 times in a row.
This one's worth it. This
And
one's
the
worth
Hard
it.
Okay,
Rock
you can
and
tell me
then
the story, but only
classic.
one person talking at the same time.
Come on. Tell us
We're going to a casino?
We're just making it short. We're making it short.
Yeah,
but-
make it short.
But I asked Henry and I went to the casino a few weeks ago, and it was all right. Henry, where's the roulette table, man? He's like, oh, I think it's over. Let's go find that thing. I was like, all right, let's go. I took $100, put it on red. Red hit. Then I was like, all right, moving it to black. Took the 200, put it on black. Black hit. I was like, all right, great.
36.
You know,
Just made $300.
We're up.
36
We're up.
black.
Let's go have a good time. We go have a good time. It's the end of the night. We're waiting for our Uber. The Uber's coming. We already ordered the Uber. Henry's like, man, you're having a good night, bro. You're having a good night, man. I want to go in. I want to go in with you. I was like, Henry, bro, I'm up, man.
This is when you leave.
This is when you leave.
This is
right?
when you leave.
And the devil's on my shoulder, man. He's like, Will, you can do it. Henry thinks you can do it. Go make Henry proud. So we went back into the casino. Took all the money that we won. Henry added some money and we put it on red. And red hit.
What?
Red hit again.
What casino was that?
That was at the Classic. We started our first two bets was at the Hard Rock, and then we went across the street to the Classic.
Nice.
Canceled the Uber, went inside, gave the folks the freaking. We told them, hey, $400, let's go. $500, let's go. Give us our chips, and we told them red, and they're sitting there like what's going on? They're like, no, don't help him. Don't help him. Don't help him. Don't help him with the chips. The chips are all over the place. They gave us, dude, what kind of chips they gave us? They gave us like dollar.
They gave you the colors. They gave you the colors.
Yeah, they gave us like, I don't know if it was $1 or $5 so that we could spread it across the board. We're like, dude, we just want it all right here on red. And that was it.
And we hit it.
Listen, we all hit it. And one of the things that I love about what we do is like, I don't know, like the family aspect of it. I think it's something that really sets us apart. I really appreciate you guys.
I think that's the
like,
number one thing.
Yeah, that family. Listen, at the end of the day, we're like who assembled the Laker team? Who was that guy?
Bus.
No,
before Jerry Buss family. They're the ones, yeah.
But there's always like that like
The
like,
GM before Jerry Buss was Magic Johnson.
But like look at
retired,
Pat Riley. These are people that like.
That's for the Heat, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But for like even like for some organizations like the Steinbrenners, like at the end of the day, you know what those people are good at? Is putting teams together. Yeah. And the team that we have here, I'm telling you, bro.
It's amazing.
It's a 360 from the time I started.
It is like,
and it's not even me being Steinbrenner. There's people that like people here are interviewing and hey, how did you feel about that person?
Sorry, 360 you start back where you came from, but you know what I mean.
Sorry, it made sense in my head when you said it.
You got people that dedicated to what they do, and on top of that, you're the head that makes it all happen. And
or you close off.
But that's it. It's the last one.
I just want you to understand, and I think I can speak for everybody here, that we truly appreciate how personal you've gotten with us, and because it's hard. It's hard as an owner of a company to also try to befriend all your employees because it's really hard because it blurs the line a little bit. Myself personally, not to me because I know how to keep that line very solid and know my place, but it's really hard for an owner, I know, to befriend their employees, to blur that line, to know that, you know.
No, I listen, I agree. I think, but one thing, it's very easy to love them. So, you know, we don't have to be like best friends and go out on the weekends and, you know, be each other's barbecues. But I'm going to love you like I love, you know, my kids.
I think we
you know?
feel that. I think we feel that. I mean, personally, I feel
because at the end of the day, again, John Bell consumes so much of us, but it's not all of us, you know? And like, it's a little bit, I even said it like at Thanksgiving, like, this is me, you know? So like we protect that. Like we have to protect our time. Like even if it's whatever time it is, I think it's important that we protect it. It's got to be of value to us because if not, we really can't do and be the machine that we really are. Like we don't perform at the high standards that we need to if we're like bogged down.
But you know that 100% of what the owners do with their workers is not bring the 150% of their guys. And you do. John Bell does. brings the majority of the percentage of the strength that they can have.
Oh, but you guys are
the talent.
the problem is like people are capable of anything. I think people just
I agree.
they're like scared of like the result of it. But what people are capable of, we're capable of so much. We were designed to be like
You don't know what you're capable of.
we're
till
not
you
designed
put
to
the
have
test.
grocery stores. Like
Yeah.
we're designed to like
But we got- you
look for
gotta-
our food and
but you
like
can
really
have a
defend for
lot
our
of-
families.
you can
Yeah,
have
you
a
gotta
lot of
allow people to
talented
do that though.
What? Yeah, you have to allow people.
allow-
to
Yeah,
gotta allow
you
them
can
to
have
do
a lot
that.
of talented people, and you don't get the best of them. And I always said it: if you can get the best of them, this guy can give 150%.
I agree. That's what makes us a team.
Well, listen, we appreciate you guys being part of this episode. This was superintendents, project managers together, and usually it's like the office and the the field. Or like let's say you're doing a home remodel, the person actually building it and the person buying stuff. There's like that weird dynamic, but the dynamic we have here is awesome. Honestly, we can't wait to build more things and continue to go in the direction we're going.
Yeah,
So,
one thing
and-
we're gonna say is 2025. John Bell. We're gonna get there.
Wake
To the
up-
top.
wake up
John
every
Bell
day.
to the top. To the top.
What?
get some
Wake up
cheese.
every day.
Only
It's
way
time to go to work.
To the top. To the top.
Come on, Dennis.